So welcome to another POV, and this time I'm very excited because we will be talking about the historic and probably one of the most controversial national elections that we've seen in the recent years. And I'm talking about, of course, the U.S. elections 2020, the Biden versus Trump elections. And I think a couple of hours ago, they've just called it. Pennsylvania officially called it, and the new president, the newly elected president of the United States of America, is none other than the Democrat candidate Joe Biden. So it's great to be witnessing this piece of American history, and if I'm not mistaken, this is actually one of the biggest, if not the biggest, turnout of voters in the American election history. And I think since 100 years ago, that was the last time that they've actually recorded a record-breaking amount of voters, and this is a feat, and this is an achievement, of course, a great example of how democracy plays an important part in everyone's life, and in America in particular. So I'd like to give my takeaways on this topic, and I think President Biden, or President-elect Biden, I think that's the right term for it, till he's actually had his oath taking and everything. So President-elect Biden, he's got a huge, huge list of things that he needs to be thinking about as soon as he starts his term as the new president of the United States. But I want to take this opportunity to highlight three things that I think came out of this whole election. I think first and foremost, one thing that really stood out for me is the fact that, this is, like what I mentioned earlier on, this is democracy at its best. We saw a huge turnout of voters. Everyone really used their right to vote, their right to suffrage. It's great. It's very empowering, and it's very positive. It's a positive news to see that people are actually exercising their rights to vote. They're using it. And every vote counts. I mean, we hear it every time there is an election, that every single vote counts. And sometimes we sit back and be like, does my vote really count? I mean, I'm just one out of possible million who will be voting. How will my vote make a difference? And I think this year's election, the Biden versus Trump election, is a clear example as to how that one vote can actually make a huge difference. How that one vote can have an influence in shaping the future of your country. And I think this is a great lesson for other nations, for other countries. My country, my home country, Philippines, will be holding its next national elections on 2022. And I think this is a great lesson for all the citizens. If you can vote, please do, because this is your chance to be heard. Let your voices be heard. This is your chance to be able to influence the future of your country. And, it is your right as a citizen. And, make sure that you're doing it not just for yourself, but also for your family and for the whole nation in general. So I think that's the first takeaway. The second one that I realized throughout this whole U.S. election process is how media can be very manipulating in terms of what they want us to see and what they want us to believe. I think over the past few years, or since President Donald Trump got elected in 2016, all we're hearing are all these negative things about Donald Trump. Everyone pretty much hated him, and celebrities do not like him. We saw a lot of protest. We saw a lot of media comebacks, and we saw a lot of negative stories, articles, and anecdotes that were attached to his name. And I think he's probably, I'm not sure, but he's probably one of the most bashed politician or a political figure online, and a lot of people are most people that I've seen are against Donald Trump. But actually, if you look at the turnout of the votes, it's a very close fight between Biden and Trump. There were some states, in fact, quite a few of them, where Trump actually won over Biden, and some of the states where Biden actually won over Trump, the gap between the votes is razor thin, and it only shows that there are a lot of people out there who still likes Trump. They wanted Trump to be the president for the next 4 years, and they voted for Trump. So they still have that trust, and they still believe in what Donald Trump can do for the United States, considering it is one of the most powerful countries in the world. So I think it's a clear example how media can really manipulate and twist the truth or twist things for us to see what they want us to see, instead of looking at the bigger picture and looking at what the reality is. Because if it's true that everyone hates Donald Trump, then the vote difference between the two would have been a huge gap. But actually, that wasn't the case. So there must be some people out there who still believes in Donald Trump. He's got some solid following, he's got solid supporters, and well done for them. They stuck with him, and they show their support right until the very end. And I think the third takeaway here is kind of related to that second point, and that is the United States of America is such a divided nation. I think the results of this election clearly shows how divided the Americans are. It's blue versus red. It's the Republicans versus the Democrats. It's Team Trump versus Team Biden. And you can see that in pretty much every single state. The split between the two candidates, between the two parties is on pretty much 50-50. And this is a big responsibility for President-elect Biden to make sure that I think one of his key objectives, at least for the next 12 months, starting from his first month of term, is to be able to unite the nation. Because the only way that all of his programs, all of his advocacies, and all of his plans for the country can go forward is everyone is looking at the same direction. If everyone is united, everyone is working towards the same goal. And I think that's a big challenge for him and for his administration, to be able to patch things up and to be able to address this division among the American citizens. And it is going to be a huge responsibility. It is going to be a huge challenge. And I don't think it can be fixed overnight, and it's something that I think President-elect Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris should be focusing on, and with the help of the Senate, with the help of the House, everyone in the government. I think that's one thing that they need to be looking at, and they need to address going forward. So there you go. Those were my three key takeaways from this election. I do have my own preference. I'm not from the States, so I can't really vote, and my opinion doesn't really matter on who should win. But all I can say is, it's great to see this piece of history happening, and I'm looking forward to how can President-elect Biden start conquering and facing and solving all these challenges that are going to come to his way as the new president of the United States of America. He's got a lot to prove, and I think he's got 4 years to continue the great things that Trump has done in the country, in whatever form it may be. And he's got 4 years to make his mark, and at the same time 4 years to fulfill everything that he has promised during the campaign period. And I think that's really important. So good luck to all the Americans. Good luck, President-elect Biden, and from here from UK, we'll be looking after what's going on there. We'll be keeping an eye on everything that's going to happen there, and yeah, congratulations.